Well, hey, good evening. Welcome back to my little gardening show. I want to take you along tonight as I'm checking on the seeds that we started in the Ziploc bags, to get them to sprout. I'm going to check on them. It's been 3 days. And then if they have sprouted, we'll work on trying to get them planted up tonight in the grow trays. So let's take a look. Now, as you may remember from the last video, we set these up in a 1020 tray with the on the heat mat. Got it plugged up to the thermostat, to control the temperature. Have it set at 75 degrees. Put a little towel over it. The probe is inside the tray underneath the bags. The towel to kind of keep things insulated, nice and warm. So let's take a look. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but the bag's all pooched out. And the reason for that is because we got quite a few sprouts. And look at those roots, where they've kind of grown through or grown into the paper towel. This kale the same way. Tons of roots already. Roots. And more roots. So as you can see, this was a very easy way to get your seeds, or to get my seeds to sprout. There's the pelletized seed that was in these bags here, and even that sprouted. So we'll open one of these up just to take a little closer look so you can see what's going on there. Now, the first one I took out here was a kohlrabi, and the first thing I noticed when I reached in the bag, it was nice and like moist and balmy, like definitely warm. Look at that. So it's going to take a little work to get these free from the paper towel. I'll actually probably just rip them out, with a little bit of paper towel on the root. But nearly 100% germination rate. We had a few that did not. And then we got a few that didn't really germinate that well. That's what I'm talking about, where you can kind of compare. Early on you can tell which ones are going to be real vigorous and which ones aren't, the more vigorous ones are a lot further along and have a greater chance of survival, especially once they get planted out. You can try to nurse them along and whatnot, but they're going to be more prone to disease and more than likely aren't going to make it. And I've got enough here that I can be pretty selective on which ones we move forward with. So the next step is going to be to pot these up in the trays, figure out how many of each variety I want to actually grow, and then we'll go from there. So let's get started on that. Alright, so we got our Mittleider tray that we had kind of prepped earlier. It's still somewhat moist. Might need to make these holes a little deeper since the roots are that far along. And that's surprising in 3 days that they've grown that much. But I'll make some larger holes. And then what we'll do is we'll label the tray. What I did was I just took a piece of painter's tape, put it across there, and probably do 2 rows of each variety. And I'll label them accordingly. Now, I used my little template stamper to stamp the initial holes, but I'm going to use my dibber here to go deeper. And go ahead and just drill down. I'm going to twist it so it doesn't collapse in on itself. And you don't need something fancy like this. I mean, anything will do. Heck, you could use your finger if you wanted to. This makes it just a little easier. So we got 2 rows prepped there. That's 18 plants. We'll go ahead and start breaking free the kohlrabi. Well, I've been going through my paper towels, and though the seeds successfully sprouted, one of the challenges is that in most of the paper towels, I let these go a day too long. I should have probably checked these at 2 days. We've just been kind of busy and didn't get around to doing that. So as a result, a lot of them have rooted into the paper towel, and it's making it extremely difficult to get them out of the paper towel without breaking their roots. So what I'm going to do, I mean, really, in 2 days' time, you know, this is the 3rd day. In 2 days' time, they would have all been sprouted for the most part. So I'm not really losing a whole lot of time. I'm just going to start over with that. So the paper towel method does work, and I've used it before. I just waited too long to separate them out. I should have checked them probably even a day into it, just given how much they had sprouted there in 3 days' time. So we've got plenty of time. I'm going to start them again. I've got this vermiculite or perlite stuff. I'm thinking about maybe experimenting and trying to bag with some of that. You know, put some vermiculite in there, mix in the seed and wet it all down and put it on the mat. I mean, it should sprout. Like I said, all they need is moisture and heat. And then doing it that way, it'd be fairly easy to separate. There, this is crumbling. Alright, so what I've decided to do after pitching the sprouts that were all tangled up with the paper towel is I decided to go with a thinner material that will basically just disintegrate right when we get to that point of separating stuff out, and that is good old toilet paper. So just basically getting a couple sheets of that, going ahead and just spraying it down, and then taking some seeds and sprinkling seeds on there. And these are the pelletized broccoli. And then I will put that inside of our moistened generic Ziploc bag. And we'll put them in a tray again with the probe and a towel on top, and this time I'll check them in 2 days, see if we've gained progress. Doing it this way, even if they grow through the toilet paper or whatever, I'll be able to pull them apart without tearing the roots from the stems or from the sprouts, because this will it'll basically just fall apart. And if it's a little stiff, I can just wet it down so it will fall apart, because this stuff is designed to kind of disintegrate for the most part and break down. So I guess that's it for now. Until next time, happy gardening.